It started with a letter, crisp and official, tucked among the usual junk mail in Captain Daniel Harper's mailbox. The cream-colored envelope bore the fancy seal of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, and Daniel, head of the city's K-9 unit, felt a familiar weight settle on his shoulders before he even opened it. He knew that seal, and he knew the troublemaker behind it, Maureen Carter, their next-door neighbor and the HOA's self-proclaimed queen bee. Inside, typed in a font sharp enough to cut glass, was a formal complaint about animal nuisance. It claimed Daniel's retired K-9 partner, Scout, was barking up a storm, disturbing the peace of Willow Creek's pristine streets. The letter cited time-stamped audio, photographic EVY Denke, and even had the nerve to remind Daniel, a decorated cop, to uphold community standards. Fix it now, it demanded, or face daily fines, mediation costs, or worse. Signed, with icy expectation, by Maureen Carter, HOA chairperson. Daniel let the letter fall to the kitchen counter, a low sigh escaping him. Scout, his loyal old buddy, barely barked unless someone knocked. This was Maureen's style-twisting reality to flex her HOA muscle. The EVY Denke was probably her lurking by their fence, recording Scout's single yip as squirrel. The dig at his job, implying he was slacking as a neighbor, stung worst. He was still rereading her accusations, jaw tight, when the doorbell chimed, bright and out of place. There stood Maureen on his porch, clutching a floral casserole dish, her smile as fake as a plastic flower. "Daniel, dear," she purred, her voice syrupy enough to make his skin crawl. "I was heading to an HOA meeting beautification awards, and saw your car. I hope I'm not interrupting." Her eyes darted past him, scanning his house like a hawk, then locked back on his face. "What's up, Maureen?" Daniel asked, keeping his tone flat, the letter crinkling in his hand. "Oh, nothing official," she chirped, her gaze flickering again. "I heard from Mrs. Thompson that your lovely Emily is expecting. Such wonderful news. I brought my grandmother's tuna casserole, just a little neighborly gesture." She shoved the dish at him, its warmth seeping through the towel. "Children are a blessing, aren't they? I wanted to personally congratulate you both." The shift from her nasty letter to this sugary act was jarring, and her eyes held a strange, hungry glint as they lingered on his home. "Thanks, Maureen," Daniel said, taking the casserole like it might bite. "That's kind of you." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "We must be good neighbors, especially with a little one on the way. Give Emily my best, and maybe later we can chat about keeping Scout quieter for Emily's peace, of course, during this delicate time." She patted his arm, a touch that felt more possessive than friendly, then marched off, her back stiff as a board. Daniel shut the door, unease curling in his gut. This wasn't just Maureen's usual HOA nonsense. Her sudden obsession with Emily's pregnancy felt off, manipulative, almost predatory. He set the casserole down, appetite gone. "Another love note from our charming neighbor?" Emily's warm voice came from the Levying room. 7 months pregnant with their daughter, Sophie, she glowed despite the tension, her hand resting protectively on her belly. Daniel handed her the letter, recounting Maureen's creepy VY sit. Emily's brows arched, then furrowed. "Maureen bringing food? That's not just weird, it's terrifying," she said, half laughing, but her eyes mirrored his worry. "Maybe she's trying to be nice," she offered, though neither believed it. "With Maureen," Daniel said grimly, "there's always a catch." Their evening walk, usually a peaceful ritual, felt charged that night. Willow Creek's manicured lawns and chirping kids seemed to hold their breath as they neared Maureen's house. Her Pitbulls, Titan and Rex, barked menacingly from behind her iron fence, their eyes locked on the couple. As they passed Mrs. Thompson's rose garden, the elderly neighbor waved them over, her smile warm but her eyes troubled. "Evening, Daniel, Emily." You're glowing, dear," she said to Emily, then lowered her voice. "Be careful around Maureen's place. She was in a foul mood today. Her dogs chased little Bobby Klein on his scooter, scared him silly. She just laughed, said it'd toughen him up. Can you believe it?" Mrs. Thompson leaned closer, whispering. She was muttering awful things about flaunting fertility when she saw Mrs. Klein with her new baby. Said some get all the blessings while others get nothing but pain. It was chilling, Daniel. She's had a deep bitterness, especially about kids. Never had any herself. A bad marriage years ago left her empty. It's made her hard, maybe even cruel. Daniel and Emily exchanged a look. Maureen's hostility wasn't just HOA pettiness. It ran deeper, darker, and far more dangerous. As they approached Maureen's property, the air crackled with tension. Titan and Rex prowled their fence, growling low, their gazes fixed on Emily's belly. She gripped Daniel's hand tighter, and he stepped slightly in front of her, his K-9 instincts on high alert. Then Maureen's door creaked open, and there she was, not with her usual scowl, but that same eerie, too-sweet smile. "Daniel, Emily, what a treat to see you out," she called, her voice dripping with false warmth. "I was about to enjoy some lemonade on the porch. You must join meddle me about your baby plans." She swung her gate wide, gesturing to her dogs. "The boys are just big softies once they know you're no threat." Every alarm in Daniel's head screamed. This was wrong, too staged, too unlike Maureen. "That's kind of you," he said, stalling, "but Emily's tired. We're heading home." "Nonsense," Maureen insisted, her smile fixed, her eyes glinting with something feverish. "Just a few minutes. I've got new wicker chairs to show off." Her sweeping gesture felt like a trap, but refusing risk to scene. Emily gave a tiny nod, wary but wanting to avoid a fight. "All right, Maureen," Daniel said, forcing a smile, his gut churning as they stepped through the gate. On the porch, Titan and Rex were tethered to the railing with thin nylon leashes, their eyes never vying Emily. Maureen fussed over chairs and poured lemonade, her hands trembling slightly, her chatter about baby names and nurseries suffocatingly intense. Daniel stayed on edge, watching the dogs' tense postures and Maureen's too bright smile. Emily answered politely, her hand on her belly, but her unease was palpable. Then Maureen stood abruptly, her smile twisting into something feral. "The sun's perfect in the backyard now, and the boys love chasing squirrels there. Let me unclip them for a run. They hate these short leashes." She moved toward the dogs, cooing in a high-pitched tone. Daniel's instinct screamed as he spotted a thin fishing line looped around the leash clips, its end hidden in Maureen's hand. "A tripwire." "Maureen, wait," he growled, rising, but her eyes locked on Emily with raw, venomous hatred. "I lost every chance at a family, at happiness," Maureen hissed, her voice cracking with decades of pain. "You think you deserve this? Parading your belly in my face when I got nothing but emptiness." With a size tug, she yanked the line, and the leashes snapped open. "Titan, Rex, go greet the baby," she shrieked, her face a mask of rage. "Show her what loss feels like." The dogs surged forward, silent and deadly, their eyes burning as they zeroed in on Emily. Time slowed to a crawl. Emily's scream pierced the air, her hands shielding her belly. Daniel's K-9 training kicked in, years of facing danger flooding his veins. "Aus! Platz!" he roared, his voice a thunderous command honed on the training field. Titan faltered, confused by the authority, but Rex, wilder, lunged for Emily. Daniel threw himself in their path, a human shield, knowing a Pitbull's bite could be crippling, but unable to let them reach his wife, an unborn child. Rex's jaws clamped onto Daniel's forearm, teeth grinding bone, pain exploding like fire. He roared, not in defeat but in fury, twisting to slam Rex against the railing. Titan charged his side, aiming for Emily, who stumbled back, sobbing. "Emily, get inside. Call 911. Daniel yelled, grappling with Titan's snapping jaws. Emily fumbled for her phone, shaking, as Maureen stood frozen, her triumph fading to horror at the blood and chaos she'd unleashed. Daniel wrestled Titan, his good arm forcing the dog's jaw up, inches from his face. Blood poured from his mauled arm, but he couldn't hold both dogs long. Sirens wailed in the distance. Emily had gotten through. "Daniel, your arm," she cried, backing toward the street. "Keep him OVYing. Get help," he shouted, staring down Titan. "Aus! Down!" he bellowed, his voice a whip crack. Titan whined, hesitating, and Rex's grip loosened for a split second. Daniel yanked his arm free, agony surging, and staggered to his feet, planting himself between the dogs and Emily. A patrol car screeched up, lights flashing. Officers Lopez and Kim, weapons drawn but lowered, approached. "Captain Harper, are you okay?" "Mrs. Harper," Lopez called, her voice tight. "Suspect's Maureen Carter," Daniel yelled, pointing at Maureen, now a trembling wreck on her porch. She released the dogs to attack Emily, who's 7 months pregnant. "Secure her, get animal control now." Lopez cuffed Maureen, who stammered, "It was an accident, the leashes broke." Daniel's glare silenced her. "We all saw what you did, Maureen." As officers contained the dogs and medics rushed to Daniel, Emily clung to him, safe but shaken. Maureen's world crumbled under the weight of her actions, her bitterness exposed. Daniel's arm throbbed, but Sophie and Emily were unharmed. That was everything. As Maureen was led away, Daniel vowed she'd face justice for her calculated EVYL. What would you do if your neighbor turned on you like this? Was Maureen's pain an excuse for her actions? Or is she just pure EVYL? Should Daniel have seen this coming? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you talking.